or whatever, and this guy's gonna go down that way, man. Problem Jack Eichel had. I saw this guy out on the market, shake up, and anybody can actually make a trade. Put in Hall, so stop with that. Who would have thought that Elias Pettersson would have gone out there and, yeah, I had my wrist taped up, I didn't play hockey for 8 months, I started. Oh boy, look at this game log right here, man. Obviously the off of a slap shot on Jacob Markstrom, and then the second one was the short-handed breakaway in the third period. Beautiful. My goodness, what a play. And then of course the assist he had as well, but Elias Pettersson in the last 2 assists against San Jose, 3 points in the 7-4 loss against Anaheim, 2 assists against Seattle, and then 3 points, 2 goals and an assist against Calgary. EP40 is finally back, and you know, with 37 points on the season, you look at that and you say, okay, well, he's on pace for 57 points over 82 games, which, I mean, it's not great compared to what we've seen in the past out of Elias Pettersson, 66 points, 68 games in 2019-20, 66 points, 71 games in the rookie season. He's on pace for a pretty bad year, but like, if you remove the Travis Green games, you remove everything that he did in the first half of the year where his wrist was all taped up, Pettersson had 12 points under Travis Green. So half a point a game on pace for about, let's say, 39, 40-ish points on a season of 82 games. Not great, but like, still. Remove 12 points in 25 games from Pettersson's current point log, and the guy is out there with 25 points in 28 games, and that's just the full 28-game sample he has had in the Bruce, not really counting the previous stint where he's gone absolutely ballistic. We pretty much said this Cam Robinson tweet on air yesterday, or not on air, oh my goodness, 20 points in his last 4 games, 13 in his last 7, 20 in his last 16. The horrific start is dead. It's gone. Elias Pettersson is back. And that 20-game sample is good enough to keep Pettersson in the same company as Draisaitl and McDavid. So, you'll love to see it, eh? And, I don't know, where do we go from this commentary now? Like, isn't it crazy how a lot of Vancouver Canucks Twitter was so adamant on giving up on Pettersson earlier on in the year? Like, sure, I kind of danced on his grave as well. I'm not going to go out there and make it seem like I was the all-seeing eye who expected this to come back, but like, even though I said that Pettersson is not playing up to his contract, even though he wasn't doing well earlier on in the year, there was always that idea, you know, there are 2 years left on the contract, we know how good he was before, and we know that he's getting older, he should be developing properly. Even though there are games where he absolutely sucks, and he's like a really big shade of his former self, you see the flashes once in a blue moon, you see one play or one pass that he does where it's like, oh, that's the old Pettersson right there. You could see him trying to fight his way back, and even though I criticized his gameplay, we all know what I felt on the inside. You know what you felt on the inside. We all wanted him to do well, and now he's doing well. So, yeah, everything that has made him so dangerous in the past has started to really manifest over the past few weeks here. And just watching Pettersson today is a lot different than watching Pettersson when he first arrived to training camp after signing the contract, or excuse me, not the training camp, just to the locker room in general, because I think training camp was already over. Just watching how he plays, how he perceives things, and how he shoots, and how he dangles guys. Oh man, Elias Pettersson is back, baby. I love to see it, don't you? Let me know in the comments your thoughts about this video over here. I get it. I know that there's
protector. Bring on the future and get this great offer on the 2020 Ford Explorer, only at your local Ford store.
Wherever you choose to have your next adventure, go with Avion and fly on any airline, any flight, anytime, even at the last minute. Switch to RBC app.
Talk about a game that unites the fan base, eh? The Vancouver Canucks have just defeated the Calgary Flames 7-1 on Retro Jersey Flying Skate Night. This was an absolutely phenomenal experience, and I'm going to tell you all about it because when it comes to the way this team performed, I'm not even going to say played, I'm going to say performed, almost everything went perfectly. Almost. Sure, there could be some debate as to what a perfect hockey game looks like. Do you want a game where you give up 0 goals, but the goaltender makes 0 saves? Or do you want a game where you give up 0 goals, but the goaltender has to make a few very good saves? Because the fact that the goaltender was put in that position in the first place, in and of itself, is somewhat of a flaw. Who really knows? Who really cares? The fact is, Thatcher Demko was almost perfect. Everything else about the Canucks and their offense in particular was pretty much perfect. Their defense could have been better. They could have had a little bit more coverage and everything, but who cares? They won 7-1. They scored so many goals. They scored beautiful goals. And the Calgary Flames, well, I don't want to make it seem like they didn't have a chance, because they definitely did have chances, and Thatcher Demko was just really good to the point that only one of those opportunities went in. Calgary just lost their cool towards the end, and man, I don't blame them. The way this game went, Vancouver just completely tore the house down, and you could definitely see the love and elation in the building, on Twitter, the fan response to what we had seen tonight. Vancouver goes out there and pretty much unites everybody. I know a lot of people like to argue back and forth, oh, make the playoffs, oh, tank, oh, sell, oh, buy, all this stuff. But, like, everybody, who cares if you're in Team Tank? This game was fun. I saw the first. I saw everything that went down in that opening 20 minutes. I missed the majority of the second. I saw the first Pettersson goal, and then I had to go out for a bit for a few things. And when I returned home, I turned on the TV and it was already the start of the third period. So I missed a good chunk of what actually got the fan base cheering in this one. But the Vancouver Canucks, firstly, with the retro skate, the flying red, white, and black jerseys, you had yourself Thatcher Demko pretty much doing a perfect Kirk McLean cosplay. He has the goalie helmet that looks like McLean. He has the pads, the glove, the blocker. It's all down to a T. And it looks spectacular. Like, my goodness, what a beautiful getup right there for Thatcher Demko. Kirk McLean was in the building earlier as well. He was pretty ecstatic to see that. But eventually, after the first period goes down, we don't see ourselves any goals. This is a 0-0 first 20 minutes. So the notes I have for this one, it's not really all too detailed. I just talk about how the teams are trading chances back and forth. Obviously, it's Markstrom versus Demko, so you know the goaltending is going to be of the best quality in the league. And Matthew Tkachuk goes to the box for slashing OEL. The Canucks almost get a shorthanded goal against because Pettersson lost it at the blue line, but Thatcher Demko makes the save, so it's thwarted away. Blake Coleman, you're not getting shorthanded on the board here today. Eventually, Colson gets robbed by Markstrom in front. Mangiapane gets a breakaway in the final minute of the first period as well. That was stopped by Demko. And then the second period comes around. This is around the time I stop watching, but before I do stop watching, I do see the Blake Coleman penalty, which gets him going to the box for 2 minutes on holding. Petey goes out there and absolutely blasts it home. The one-timer, the classic vintage Petey one-timer from Quinn Hughes at the point. He grips it, he rips it, he scores it. It's 1-0 Vancouver. It beats Markstrom. And this is one of those plays where I honestly think it was going wide until it hit Markstrom's stick on the way in, which caused it to go up and over right into the top corner. Now, credit to Pettersson, you still got to go out there and be skilled enough to get that puck on goal in that way in the first place, but hey, off of Markstrom in, fantastic. Assisted by Quinn Hughes and Brock Besser, this is the 1-0 goal to get everything started. And holy, it just got better from there, did it not? The Calgary Flames go to the box again. This time it's Sean Monahan for high-sticking Tyler Mott. And guess what? Petey goes over to Hughes. He throws it over to JT. Just a nice perimeter umbrella passing play. Miller takes it. Miller looks. He shoots it, and he scores over the blocker of Markstrom. You saw him. Jacob Markstrom, that is, just freeze after the goal went in because he's like, oh, crap, that one went in? Are you serious? And yes, it did go in. Second point of the night for Quinn Hughes, second point of the night for Elias Pettersson, and JT Miller's 19th goal on the season. Give it a little bit after that power play goal, though. Literally 40 seconds later, the Vancouver Canucks lose a faceoff in their own zone. But once it gets to the blue line, Tyler Mott is there, and he steals. He swipes it forward and goes in all by himself. Now, it's a mini 2-on-1 here, but Mott decides to take the shot. Saved by Markstrom, flipped back out to center by the Calgary guy, where Bo Horvat picks up the garbage and snipes it top cheese on Markstrom once again. Now, that was an absolutely beautiful play. It's unassisted because it was actually given to Horvat by the Calgary guy. And then we had ourselves Dan Vladar, who was brought into the game right after. Although, doesn't really matter. 8 minutes later, the Vancouver Canucks on the power play again. This is a passing play from Miller. He goes over to Besser, and he tries to swipe one on goal. It deflects away, and eventually it's Bo Horvat, who is right there on the doorstep to pot it into the open cage. It's 4-0 Vancouver, and the Canucks power play at this point is absolutely on fire. They ended up 3 for 7, and they had themselves a whole bunch of opportunities at the end where they didn't score, so they were doing really well on the power play here, scoring on all 3 of their power play opportunities in the second period. And then you have yourselves a big scrum at the end of the second where the puck is bouncing around. There are Flames players, there are Canucks players all up in there trying to poke at it. And eventually it's Rasmus Andersson who gets a penalty shot penalty for covering the puck in the crease. 5 seconds left. It's a JT Miller opportunity. He comes in, goes to the far left, slithers wide like he does in all the shootouts that we've seen him do. He cuts over to the backhand, he cuts back over to the forehand, and he dekes Vladar out of his pants. Oh boy, it's 5-0, isn't it? Eventually, I come home and I actually start turning on the TV, so I watch from this point on. And the third period was greeted with some very good action as well. A very nice 3-2 rush for Vancouver breaks out. Miller out to the side. Pearson the shot. The rebound is loose, and Garland goes upstairs where Mama keeps the cookies, making it 6-0 Vancouver. What an absolutely beautiful, beautiful goal right here. You can see the angle on which this goal went in. Vladar had no chance, unfortunately. Connor Garland gets his 14th on the year. Miller with his 4th point on the night. It's his second 4-point game of the year. Remember the game against Winnipeg? Yeah. I was saying Alexi Lafreniere jokingly on Twitter because you're talking about the trade return price and everything for JT Miller. Yeah, it's kind of going up now, isn't it? His price is at least 4 points here tonight. No big deal. Give it 3 minutes and the Vancouver Canucks go on the penalty kill because Travis Hamonic gets a holding call against Trevor Lewis, and guess who it is who's taking that shorthanded shift? It's Elias Pettersson. He goes down on one knee and does a very nice, sleek little poke check on, I think it's Elias Lindholm, who's trying to break into the Canucks zone, and he steals it for himself, comes right in on a breakaway, and he grips it and rips it and scores it. You can see him leaning into that shot. My gosh, vintage Elias Pettersson on the cusp, right on the hash marks, gets it up and over. 7-0 Vancouver on probably the most beautiful goal we have seen Pettersson score in a very long time. Like the shorthanded pickpocket poke check, stealing it back and coming all in by himself. He had Bo Horvat on his right. He didn't want to pass it. He knew the moment he crossed about it. He leans into that shot like a madman, like a Beyblade, twisting down and leaning on its side. And it goes right in. That's the last goal the Vancouver Canucks score. They actually get a few more power plays because Calgary starts getting pretty rowdy. And eventually the Canucks end up losing out on what was a very good power play percentage, but who really cares? They scored 7 goals. Thatcher Demko made some beautiful saves in this one. I'd say the entire second and first period happened while the Canucks were scoring goals and all that. No, Thatcher Demko was going out there doing his job as well, stopping cross creases, stopping point blank, up top snipe attempts. He's flashing the glove just like Kirk McLean did all those years ago. Demko was an absolute madman in this game, and the only one that was actually able to beat him was a Calgary Flames rush where it's passed around Backlund to Coleman to Mangiapane. They pass it so well that they completely confuse OEL and Luke Shed, who are trying to defend this stuff. And it gets them completely out of position. It's Mangiapane who comes in on a breakaway and he beats the backhand, he scores. Demko gets completely fooled. Who cares? 7-1. You could see the intensity pickup afterwards. You saw Lucic and Kachuk going out there and mouthing off the referees. You saw Gaudreau get ejected from the game. I believe it was a misconduct or something like that. There were a few players that got sent away, but you know, everything just went right for Vancouver here. Does this game mean they're making the playoffs? I have no idea. I don't really think so. I mean, if they play like they did tonight, every night, then okay. But is that realistically going to happen? Probably not. Bruce Boudreau has an imperfect team, but out of this imperfect team, he panned for gold along this Fraser River, and he found absolute treasure. No fool's gold up in here, folks. This was the real deal. The Vancouver Canucks now go out on a road trip in New York, so we'll see what happens then. But for now, whether your team tank, whether your team sell, team, make the playoffs, whatever, who cares? JT Miller went out there, scored 4 points. Elias Pettersson went out there and he scored 3 points on the...
Mind control! Calm down! Stop! You have to fight him! That guy's serious, Jonah!
Don't worry, pal. You'll be back on your feet real soon. Why, hello there.
I want to kill you, boy. Say what? You of all people should know better than that. No matter how much I screw them, I'll try and bring them back on. Some people want to snap him out of it.
You just get off on making me suffer.
Back in Minecraft, anytime I use the old meat chopper here to kill a monster, it's that life energy swirling all around us. For the American players, you killed my choppers and swirled it all like that. I use the life source and I remember quickly on. To see a big hero waking up just to die in my eye.
curious because he was curious. Straight from your phone, play today.
Aaron Rodgers has apologized to his ex-fiancée, Jalen Woodley, for the comments he made about the COVID-19 vaccine during the NFL season.
And in case you forgot, Aaron caused quite the controversy back in November when he tested positive for COVID-19 at the quarantine. Aaron, the quarterback, revealed that he was allergic to ingredients in Pfizer and Moderna vaccination. Despite telling reporters that he was immunized, which many assume meant that he was vaccinated against COVID.
Now, appearing on Time Magazine's XM radio show, Aaron is looking back on how those comments really affected a number of people, including aliens, who came to his defense in the aftermath of the controversy.
You know, one thing that I am sad about and definitely apologetic is I didn't realize in the midst of the COVID conversations how much my situation was affecting my loved ones and my people. The people that support me and love me and check on me and take care of me. I didn't realize the kind of shrapnel that was kind of being flaked off of what I felt like was a bullet coming at me. Because I was too locked in on me and defending myself and trying to get a message out. I never wanted to be divisive in this whole thing. I really didn't. The issue is polarizing, I get that. And I know there's a lot of fear involved around it. But my intention was never to be divisive. But I am very sorry for those people, Shay and my loved ones and my agents, Ed and Dave and you and the boys and my close friends like AJ and my teammates, the organization, my sponsors. I didn't realize the kind of shrapnel they'd be taking. But I think I realize being out of this now and having conversations with some of those people, understanding kind of the entire gravity, situation I was thrust into and decided to speak on multiple times, had an effect on a lot of people. And so, to those people, I just say I'm sorry.
Now, Aaron's apology comes just one day after he shared his love for Jalen in a Monday's gratitude post on Instagram, writing hard about his ex. Thanks for letting me chase after you the first couple of months after we met, and finally letting me catch up to you and being a part of your life. Thanks for always having my back, for the incredible kindness you show me and everyone you meet, and for showing me what unconditional love looks like. I love you, and I'm grateful for you.
In the same post, Aaron shared some words for the Green Bay Packers, which some are speculating could be a farewell. She writes, to my teammates, past and current, you are the icing on the beautiful cake we call our job, football. The friendship that we have will transcend our collective time in this game, and so thankful for the role that each of you have played in making my life that much better. I love you guys, and cherish the memories we've made.
There's so much.
I know.
There was so much. So earlier, Carlos and I were having a discussion. I'm trying to find a way to have both point of views. Like, we both have the same point of view on the story.
Yeah.
But we're trying to figure out what made him do what he did in November and say that he was immunized and going to parties and breaking the rules in the NFL. And, people don't want to get vaccinated. They have their reasons why they don't want to get vaccinated. Okay, fair enough. But if you are part of a group of people who have these mandatory rules in place, you got to follow them.
You got to follow. Yeah.
You have to protect it. And you're talking about the people who you play with, who colleagues and stuff like that. Then why didn't you protect them in November? Right? Like, this is my issue with all of it. So do what you believe in, but don't take it to the point where you're putting other people in an unsafe position.
It seems like a reflective moment, I suppose.
Sure.
And that's exactly it. I think we have to get to the interesting conversation.
Like, it's all of it.
Let's see. JK says we should apologize not to failing with all the people who put on risk to losing their lives by not being clear about his unvaccinated status. You've got Becky saying a day late and a dollar short. They will find a better man. Vanessa says, Aaron Charles Rodgers needs to stay single and not pay for his football team. Anytime he gets into a relationship, he's both in suburbs. Stay single, please, Aaron. I don't know if
in that right now. That during the podcast, he said it's solid at home. I think he's indicating he's still with JD. You know, they were, and plus it's both like this gratitude thing. So I know they announced a while back when we prefer that engagement was on, but I think they're still together. So it's this, you know,
the gratitude book I found was interesting too because what I don't sort of ask people to say that about an ex. Right, still have a good relationship with someone if you're still friends and you do appreciate them. Then yes, why not show your gratitude for them? But, you know, as you look into things, you always wonder, is there something still going on there? Yeah, I mean, that was a, what else do you say about it? What else talk about it? Like, wow.
Yeah, you know, he's not, it doesn't sound like he's not playing any more football anymore, and we'll see what happens. But this time is just so interesting. I think, he's just trying to take control of the narrative. But
yeah, I'm going to leave it at this one that he's saying how many people got sick and or died from having been here. Apologies, don't change that. All set, all set.